All right, thanks, Meg. I was just thinking Reynold and I played, I think, squash or racquetball like 30 years ago, and if I lost Reynold, I want a rematch, and I'm not surprised they would have sports ministry there. Elaine and Nizar SHAHEEN are with me right now.
Ellen.
Ellen, I mean, and to tell me how you are doing right now, as you're processing in the last week?
Yes, it's been a difficult week, and but you know, really, as my mom has said over and over again, the joy of the Lord is our strength, and all the family is feeling that. We're feeling God's strength.
And how about you? Because Nizar, because David was like a dad to you.
Yes, my father died when I was hardly 14 years old. So really, I'm adopted in the family, and I consider him as a dad and also a father in faith.
Now, you've got an amazing ministry, Light for All Nations Ministries. And we're going to talk about that in a part of David Mainse Memorial Fund that will be going to your ministry, to, you know, the gospel, all the Middle East, North Africa, and all that. But let's go to a promo right now, give you an understanding of what this is all about. What a great work God is doing all over the world. And Nizar, we're talking about, as we're getting ready to come out, these days that we're living in are unprecedented. The amount of people in the Middle East, North Africa, from the Muslim backgrounds are coming to Jesus in record numbers.
Yes, actually, we never seen, historically speaking, like in the last 1,000 years. This generation is a very unique time, unprecedented opportunity. We are talking about hundreds of thousands of people are coming to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ in the Middle East, in North Africa. Huge numbers. I remember when we started the ministry, if someone calls from the Middle East, it was a celebration for us. But these days, like every single day, we see precious souls coming to Jesus Christ.
Ellen, tell me about this beginning of the ministry. How did it all come about? I mean, about the time you were married, you're starting this ministry, you'd have no idea how it would reach the world. Tell me the genesis of it.
Well, I think it started long before I met Nizar, because my grandfather, my father's father, was a missionary in Egypt for many, many years. And my dad, when he was young, would always pray for the Arab world. And so I don't think he was too surprised when I went as a student to Jerusalem and met Nizar. And after we were married, my dad recollected that in about 1968, he has taken with my mother, I don't know how many Holy Land tours, but he recalls there was a little boy in Cana playing in the street beside the wedding church. And he recalls that this little boy was very cute. Of course, he's very cute.
Yeah,
and
still is.
Yeah, yes. He recalls, you know, tousling his hair and saying a prayer over this particular little boy, that God would save this little boy. And he now knows the answer, because he always said, when I get to heaven, I want to ask the Lord if that was Nizar.
Wow.
And I believe it was, because Nizar's home was just right there, and that's where he would always play as a child, right in front of the wedding church in Cana. So we do believe that was him. And when he visited us when we were engaged, my dad said, you know, talked to him about the television ministry, and Nizar had no idea about Christian television. But he wanted Nizar to do a pilot program, and all the crew of Huntley Street said he took to it like a duck to water. And so that was clearly God's calling for him to be in the television ministry in the Arabic language. And so Dad really instigated this ministry to begin.
I mean, and we, of course, Nizar, have seen, you know, your teaching from the Holy Land over the years and have so appreciated it. Something that you, and I don't even like to refer to it as the funeral, because when, you know, David Mainse, it was really a celebration of life, his life. But tell me about, you had to make, in a sense, a difficult situation just recently you're feeling maybe a pull to go back and preach. You meet your father-in-law in the hospital, and tell me what happened.
Well, I was doing production with my daughter in the Holy Land when I heard the news that Dad's health is in decline. So we had to cancel the trip, but also I had another trip to go to Syria. So I had to cancel this trip because on the way back also I was supposed to be in Lebanon. So when I came back, we had a great time with Dad because we had communion and we celebrated their 59th anniversary. So we had a good time at the hospital. But people kept calling me from Lebanon if you could even make it just for a couple days because they promoted the event. So I spoke with Dad and I said, this is the situation. People are inviting me in Lebanon. What do you think? I mean, he didn't think much. We sat him, he was in pain, and he looked like straight stern in my eyes, and he said, go win souls. So in the last meeting, the large meeting, I sensed in my spirit that already Dad departed to be with the Lord. That evening, the Lord gave us 100 souls.
Wow.
And it was such a joy, to have this, as a fruit to give it back to Dad. Of course, when I came back to Canada, Ellen said, Dad is now counting these names that are written in the book of life. So what an ending, just to go to win souls. And he prayed a blessing on me. And I felt that anointing in that meeting.
Ellen, is the best still yet to come?
I think it is. Yes, we do believe it is,
Yeah.
because the Lord is really moving in our ministry and giving us a great blessing of souls. So I know it's better to come still.
Well, I so appreciate you. In fact, the last time we saw each other before we gathered back here was in Erbil, Iraq. I saw you in a Pentecostal church there, and then I was at one of the safe houses with Voice of the Martyrs, and I walk in, hey, Nizar's on TV. Of course, you're speaking Arabic, but it's amazing. God has used you guys, and that's a part of, again, we talk legacy. Just keep up the good work, and we'll probably bump into you somewhere out there.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much. What we are doing is basically, we are about winning souls. The door is wide open. There is one missionary for over 1 million Muslims. I mean, no wonder God is sending them to us here in Canada and in North America, but also through media, we are reaching hundreds of millions of people.
Well, they say it's probably the best time in history to be a Christian. Scariest, but most exciting. Anyway, let's go over. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank
go to
you.
Cheryl and standing by with some more amazing people.